So this isn't about making herself feel better and no, you're not fat and oh my God, you're beautiful the way you are and please stop saying that to yourself. Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel, Mary's Cup of Tea. So it's been a hot minute since I've made a YouTube video. I know, I'm sorry. It's just, YouTube stresses me out a little bit because it's such a beast of a platform, but I realize that it's the best way to get some information and advice on confidence and self-love out there to you. So I am sticking with it. I promise I'll be more consistent. So before I get started talking about what we're going to talk about today, which is how to handle that friend who always talks shit to herself, I want you to go down in the comments below and let me know what you want to see on YouTube. I'm planning on like redoing my entire channel and refocusing and setting intentions as to what I want to put out there for you. So it would really help if you let me know what you want to see so that way I can serve you. So let's begin. I have been getting one question a lot ever since I started sharing my journey on Instagram, and that is, how do I handle that friend who is either diet obsessed or she's super self-conscious about her body, or maybe she's making commentary towards you and you know that she is projecting her own insecurities onto you, and at the same time you don't want to just drop all your friends, right? Like, you have a friend that you've been friends with for a while and it's not practical to just cut people out of your life. So let's begin. I'm going to break this down into 3 simple steps on how to handle that friend who's always putting herself down. I also have notes here on my phone, so I am not looking at my crutch, I am looking at my phone. Let's see. See, this is why YouTube stresses me out. I'm like, oh, I had this great idea to talk about something, and then I get here and I'm like, ugh. But I have made a vow to myself to not edit my videos as much anymore. So what you see is what you get. So ultimately, this is going to be a boundary setting game. And I do have a workbook on setting boundaries, so I'll put that in the link. I don't know, I was gonna say link in bio because I'm so used to Instagram, but I'll link that below. I have a whole workbook that's kind of like a journal exercise for you to set boundaries and communicate them effectively and protect your sacred space. But what you have to remember when you're setting boundaries and when you're dealing with this friend is that this is about you. This is about filling your cup first, so that way you can better serve her. So this isn't about making herself feel better and no, you're not fat and oh my God, you're beautiful the way you are and please stop saying that to yourself. It's about, look, this is what I need in order to be the best version of myself that I can be, and only then can I lift you up. So remember that the focus here is on you. Setting boundaries is always about you, and you're communicating how you feel and you're making powerful requests of other people, so that way you can protect your sacred space. I use this term a lot, sacred space, and what that really means is just, oh my goodness, I don't know what that was. I hope my dog's okay. Charlie? Are you okay? Anyways, I just heard his collar, so it means he's okay. Okay, regroup. So first of all, when you're hanging out with this triggering friend and she says something triggering, so for example, I recently experienced hanging out with an old girlfriend of mine who's always like, I'm so fat, I need to work out, I need to diet again, I can't wait to get back into it, Monday, like all this stereotypical diet talk, right? So the first thing I do is I tap into, how does this make me feel and what does it trigger inside of me? Because I can't control what she says or does. I can control my response. Hopefully it's a response and not a reaction. I can only control my response if I'm actually conscientious to what I'm feeling. So ask yourself, what is coming up for me when my friend says this? Am I thinking the same things about myself? Am I scared that maybe she thinks these horrible thoughts about me? Am I angry? Am I sad? Do I feel unworthy? Do I get speechless? Do I not know what to say? Am I awkward, uncomfortable? Like, what does this bring up inside me? And then take note of that. preferably in your journal. Take note of what comes up for you and make sure to explore that deeper. So I talk about this all in the boundaries guide. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but first you have to really self-reflect. So instead of putting the shit on the other person, instead of being like, oh, well, you talk shit to yourself and you make me feel bad, the truth is, nobody can make you feel a certain way without your permission. So ultimately, you are choosing to feel this way. So it's very, very useful and important to explore what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Secondly, this is where the hard stuff comes in. So this is where you get to have a vulnerable conversation with your friend, and branching off of the first point, you get to communicate to her how it makes you feel. So this isn't about her, this is about you. So you get to let it all out on the table. Okay, well, when you look at yourself in the mirror and talk bad about your body, I feel insecure because this reminds me of a conversation that I often have with my body, and I'm trying not to have that anymore. So I don't like witnessing it. That's like something I would say. Or when you call yourself fat, and me knowing that I'm objectively in a bigger body than you are, I always wonder if you think negative thoughts about me, even though fat isn't bad. But in our society, there's still this fat phobia and this demonization of fat, to where if she's saying like, oh, I'm fat, what she's really saying is I'm bad, I'm unworthy, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, like all these negative connotations behind that word. So my biggest concern would be, oh my goodness, I'm in a bigger body. Does she think those things about me too? And I think that's the part that gets to me the most is, wow, if you think that way about yourself, I can't imagine what you think about me. But basically, us humans, we're so focused on ourselves that we're more often than not thinking about other people. And every insecurity that comes up, every trash that spills out of our mouth, every piece of trash that comes out of our mouth is ultimately about how we feel inside, not about how we actually feel about the other person or the subject. Hope that lands. Number 3. So you had a vulnerable conversation, you have done the deep work, you've explored what it's triggering in you, you've been able to communicate this to your friend, and I talk about exactly how to communicate your boundaries or your feelings to your friend with love and respect, because there is a process to this. I just said process, even though I haven't been in Canada in like 4 months, yet I'm speaking like a Canadian. Shout out to my Canadian friends. Anyways, hopefully the feedback and when you had this vulnerable conversation with your friend, hopefully it opened up a new level of connection between you and her. Vulnerability always breeds connection, especially with people who love you. People who love you will want to hear about your feelings, and you get to notice how they receive what you're telling them. So are they getting defensive? Are they making the conversation about them? Are they trying to understand, or are they just trying to defend themselves? So a lot of the times, like, I had a conversation with my friend, and she'll be like, well, that's just how I feel about myself. What, you want me to not talk? And it's like, no, it's just my powerful request is that if you are going to say those things to yourself, please don't say that around me. So just notice how they handle you sharing your feelings, because that'll give you some insight into what type of person they are and where you stand in that relationship. Doesn't mean they're good or bad, just notice. But the third thing, getting to it, is hopefully if it's received with love, and if your friend is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I made you feel this way, you know what, I just feel really poorly about myself and I don't want to put that on you by any means, this is where you can hold each other accountable. Make it a game. Commit to not talking down to yourself, and if one of you does, if you guys spend a lot of time with each other, or if you text sometimes, throw in an accountability check in there. Like, hey, what did you do that was nice to yourself today? Or what did you say that was kind and loving towards your body? Or where are you in your journey? And the more you open up about this and build the community around self-love and confidence and deepening your understanding of yourself and why you have these insecurities, the more you create a community around this, we're always stronger together. So I really want to invite you to reach out, have the conversation, and empower others to go on this journey as well. So I hope this helps you with handling that friend who's always talking shit to herself. I know I have one or two. There's so many people out there that are struggling, and when they're talking down to themselves, please remember that it's not about you, it's about them. So they're just putting out there what they feel inside. With that being said though, I really want to empower you to have your own boundaries, protect your sacred space, and when you can, when you feel that strength, create the community and that bond with those friends so that way they can come on the self-love journey with you. So if you want more on how to set boundaries, you can download my boundaries guide below. It's a workbook on how to handle your triggers, set boundaries, communicate those boundaries with love and respect. I honestly think that that is 80% of the battle, is how do you communicate to somebody your boundary and make sure that they respect it. And also how to move forward and protect your sacred space so that way you're the best version of you possible. So if you want that, that is linked down the description. That's what it's called. It's linked in the description below. As always, I love you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, because I'm a YouTuber, I'm supposed to say that, and I'll see you next week.